I got a gig in Lake Charles, Louisiana. And that's the first trio gig I ever had. And we bought, the trombone player played drums, a little bit of drums, so that we could get by, and he could. We bought him a snare drum. We rented him a snare drum and a cymbal, and a friend of mine, Taylor Lafargue, was the bass player, and we worked at someplace in Lake Charles, out on the highway, for a month, I think. So that was my first gig. And then I worked at Lafayette, and I remember that was the Mardi Gras Lounge, and I remember the guy that owned it was the sheriff, Carlo Listi.
All these guys, we kind of, you could say we kind of hung around. The Dewdrop was the hanging place during the daytime when there wasn't shows going on. There was Mr. Pena had a restaurant in the back. His brother rather had a restaurant in the back, and you can always go there and get some bullets, and bullets were called beans, the red beans. And so everybody kind of congregated at the Dewdrop and passed the time about what they're doing. If they have some gigs where they're going out of the country, they would discuss those and what's going on in the music scene, who's doing what and how, and that sort of thing.
A rainy night in Georgia, a rainy old night in Georgia.
Rainy night came from about the same thing as me, eating pork and Goodwill. I mean, I left high school, finished high school, left Louisiana, went down to Marietta, Georgia to stay with my sister, and found a little job driving a dump truck for the highway department, like a gravel truck. And every time it rained, you could stay home all day and play your guitar and hang out, and not have to get up, you know, get over there on that truck. So it was like, when I left Marietta, I stayed about 6 months, I guess, and moved on down to Corpus Christi, Texas, and I wrote Polk and Raining Out in Georgia, I think, pretty close to the same week. And it was actually about a real happening, a real thing, the Rainy Nights in Georgia.
Rainy night in Georgia.
I walk in there and, you know, I started telling them, you know, I play guitar and, you know, I want to come and play on a jam night, wanted to meet him and everything. And he said, man, he said, a lot of you guys come out here, you know, and say y'all playing blues and y'all ain't playing nothing but old rock and roll. He said, but you see that sign on the wall? So that sign says Tabby's Blues Box in Heritage Hall. He said, we don't do nothing but blues here. He said, if you come in and play over here, you play nothing but the blues. And that was like the first time I'd heard that. You know, like, you can't play nothing but blues here. I was so excited to hear that. I was like, Tabby, thank you. That was the first time anybody ever told me that. So I was really fired up, you know.
Everybody sing.
Everybody, of course, knows who Little Richard is, and everybody heard Jerry Lee, and everybody heard Fats. And I did a little bit of that. I had that in what I was doing, but when I heard Fats, I was thunderstruck. It was really a change of whole direction and focus for me. A three-piece acoustic group. And they had a record that they'd made in South Carolina. They were called Uncle Walt's Band. And on this record was this song, In the Night. And I just loved it. I loved everything they did, but I really loved that. And I asked them where it came from, and they said, as if I were some kind of an idiot, and I apparently was, you've never heard of Professor Longhair. And that's it. And that started me off. That was it.
You tell me, baby, your love for me was strong. But I woke up this morning, your big girls were gone. That's all. I know you love another man, but that's all right.
I never forget a story real quickly. I was at Fidelity Bank over on Government Street one day, and I was in the bank, and Slim walked in. He said, "Hey, John," he had a check in his hand. He said, "Hey, John, who the hell are the Rolling Stones?" I said, "Slim, Rolling Stones, man, they're a new group out of England, man." Well, what happened was they had cut I'm a King Bee on his, on the first album they did, and he had a nice check, and he didn't even know who they were.